Very big show today. Right now on the program, we're going to take you back a couple of months to a big event in the history of the game of rugby league and the Penrith Club.
That's history in front of our eyes at Accor Stadium. Full time in one of the greats. Penrith 14 have defeated the Melbourne Storm 6. The men from the foot of the mountains have just staked their Panther flag on NRL's greatest summit. 4 in a row. We may never ever see this again in our lifetime.
Absolutely extraordinary stuff. The man that has been at the helm of all 4 premierships now also has his book out, Not Everything Counts But Everything Matters. We're very appreciative in what is an off-season that Ivan Cleary has given us time this morning. Brandy, Ivan, welcome again to the show.
Thank you, Vossy, and thanks, Brandy.
Now that the dust has settled, and I can remember having a pre-season chat with you, might have been last year or the year before, when we were filming for The Fan, and I said, why not 5 or 6 premierships in a row? Why not? Like, it's not a matter of why, it's why not. You've now won 4. One, can you believe it? And why not 5 or 6 in a row?
Yeah, I can't really believe it, but I suppose part of what we've done is, you just focus on sort of one step at a time, and all of a sudden you get where you get. So we can, if we've done what we've done, is we can definitely do it again. We feel like we've got the team and the experience and the know-how and the belief to be able to do it. But again, this year is going to be extremely challenging. Players leaving. Just being able to win any competition is really, really difficult. So all that is in front of us, but we'll start this year feeling pretty good about our chances.
Players have left throughout the 4 years, the 5 years actually. Ivan, we tend to forget that there was a fifth grand final in 2020.
True, yeah.
You tend to forget that, but that was an incredible year where I think it's winning 17 into the grand final. Was it 17 in a row or 18 in a row? I can't remember the number, but to again lose 2 players, especially Sunia Taruva's gone, who's been very important over the last couple of years, but to lose James Fisher-Harris and Jerome Luai, big personalities. One was big in personality, the other was just big in action, James Fisher-Harris, but both, you don't replace those players. And I guess you don't replace Viliami Kikau or Stephen Crichton or Api Coruscant either. Players come in and do a job, but they're different types of players, and that will happen again. Yeah.
All those players you mentioned, Brandy, you can't replace them like for like. We just have to try and evolve the team and adjust as best we can. The guys you mentioned, in particular Fish and Jerome, who've been such a big part of our team for so long and sort of originals in the team. It's certainly going to be challenging, and I guess what we've probably done the best out of, when players have left is probably, rather, you focus too much time on what we've lost was, focus on what we have and how we can best use that. But, when you lose an absolute elite front row is a huge piece in any team's puzzle, and then not just Jerome, the player, but his personality and how that affected the team, and also his combination with Nathan is definitely challenging times ahead.
Did you get to the back end of your playing career and think, I want to coach? Because sometimes, and I've seen it with many coaches, sometimes you think, boy, it's as tough a gig as there is. You've got assistant coaches and you've got people around you, but it must feel like sometimes, Ivan, you are just on your own.
Yeah, I actually, when I was playing, I never thought about coaching really. I just fell into it really, and I think I only really became a coach because other people thought that I could do it. So that was sort of humbling, and that's when that's really what drew me in, landed me in it in the first place. Yeah, it is. You look, any leadership position can be lonely, and definitely head coaching has its. It's not all winning premierships.
No.
But yeah, but I guess I've just endured it and learned a lot along the way, and such an amazing period at the moment that I just would love to keep it going for as long as I could, really.
Ivan Cleary, our special guest at breakfast here on SEN. Ivan, my intention was to read your book in my break, which starts this weekend, but I picked it up early and now haven't been able to put it down, and I'm jumping all over the place. Now, I can't encourage people any more than this. You've just got to read this book. Now, this is a spoiler alert. If you will allow me, I want to read the very first line because it just stops you in your tracks. She said, in the prologue, I am looking at the box of antidepressants in my hand, wondering if I should take them or not. Shit, I say to myself, I can't take much more. It's May 2019. I've seen my doctor and explained how the world is closing in on me. It's become too much. I feel overwhelmed and I need help. I go 200 pages into the book and a chapter, Unexplained Vulnerability. And you talk about your 4th year at the Warriors. How tough is the job? How bad did it get for you, Ivan? And can you explain why it reached that point?
Yeah, so I had a few instances. I've had a few instances throughout my coaching career when I felt that type of, I guess, being overwhelmed. I didn't really realise it at first. It took me probably a few times to actually understand what was happening. The 2019 season, so the year I came back to Panthers from the West Tigers. Yeah, it was just I was feeling overwhelmed for so many different reasons. Not the least being coaching Nathan. I wasn't in great headspace myself. That was also, I felt that was affecting him, which is a huge feeling of guilt for me. Also, just the Panthers board, which Brandy's on, and Dave O'Neill, the chairman at the time in particular, just the people that put so much faith in me and made such a huge decision and really put themselves out there to actually get me back. And I really felt like I was letting them down. Not just them, just so many other people as well. It's just, that's where it can become, I guess that responsibility can become a burden at times. But on the flip side, that's why it's such a great job and such a great feeling when you do well. So, it is almost like Hollywood to think where we've got to now from there. And then the next 5 years, you just couldn't have flipped it any differently. So, yeah, that's a true story. That's I actually did take antidepressants. It was only for a few days because I never got past working out the level you need to take because I couldn't function properly. So anyway,
but the
we
Warriors
started winning too, Vossy. So
that makes it. But at the Warriors, you said you'd some days you'd struggle to get out of bed. You'd cry for no reason. I mean, was that the worst that it got?
It was probably the worst in 2019, but at the Warriors was the first time I'd ever experienced it, so I wasn't really sure what was happening. It was only I looked back on it and I kind of realised where I was at, and I wasn't talking about it then. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't even talk to my wife about it at that point. And that was the mistake I was making back then. That's part of what I'm trying to communicate in the book, and even now, whereas it's important to talk about these things because it's easy to happen. Really, I think men in particular, even with their own families, their own any type of responsibility, it can get to you a little, at certain times, and I think it's important to talk about it.
The name of the book, the title, Not Everything Counts, But Everything Matters. Just tell us about that.
You want to read into that, Brandy?
I do.
It's mainly around, I guess, a personal philosophy or just an experience that I've just over time that I've, that I know to be true. Where you can, it really just means that you can get away with little shortcuts here and there. You can win games or have success. I've just found that deep down, if you are taking a shortcut or, missing a line here or doing, it will find you at the wrong time when you really need it. So it's, I guess to put it in a rugby league frame, grand finals are won through much more than on the day. It's everything you've done all through pre-season, through the habits you've formed, through, regular season games, winning, losing, everything. That's sort of what that matters. That's what that means, sorry. The small things do count.
Yep. I know so many things have to fall into place, but when you win 4 premierships, what if you're looking at this side, and I've answered questions from the time we won the grand final until now and about the team and what a great team, but what is it about the last 4 years, do you think, and this side that stands out more than most things? What's the enduring?
Just consistency, Brandy. I think that's probably the thing that I'm most attracted to myself. So I just think each year when we've won, the biggest question will be, apart from our players leaving, and it's usually the biggest question is like, will they have the hunger to start from scratch again and do it? And it's a fair question. But honestly, like, I have not seen anything other than every time we start pre-season, they they come back saying more, with more hunger, like they don't take anything for granted. Any game, doesn't matter who it's against, where it is, matters to them. There's a little piece in the book about the 2022 grand final when we beat Parramatta, and we'd won. It was 28-0. We'd won the game. The game was well and truly over, and they scored a try right at the end, and then they scored another one, and then what I heard was Isaiah Yeo, our captain, basically, telling the boys that's enough. They're not scoring again, so pull your heads in and start rather than worrying about it. So that's pretty cool, So that's I guess that's sort of what the title means, where that try we conceded, that doesn't count, but it still matters.
All right. Well, obviously we could talk all day, Ivan. You've got a big Zoom meeting coming up at 7 a.m. You're busy. One last one, and you talk about Nathan, coaching Nathan. There's a whole chapter of that, but now you might be coming up coaching against your other son, Jet, who's off to the Warriors. What are you getting him for Christmas? Do you mind? That's just a question I have as a dad. Brandy's a dad. What do you buy a 4-time premiership winning son for Christmas, and your other boy as well? What are they getting for Christmas, Ivan?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to work that out. Probably socks or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
Undies.
Socks, undies.
He loves
a Nintendo.
He loves fresh undies.
Nintendo, something like that. Excellent. Ivan, it's been great having you on the show a number of times through the year. We are in awe of what you and the Panthers have achieved. I know it's dear to Brandy's heart, of course, but I'm a rugby league student and I'm loving living through this period of a great team, and there's no doubt the Panthers are a great team and club. Have a great Christmas. Look forward to locking horns next year.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support.
Thanks, Ivan.
The book is Ivan Cleary, Not Everything Counts, but Everything Matters. It must be under your Christmas tree this year. I can say nothing more than that. It just has to be under your Christmas tree. Get it.